Welcome back to What's Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M53 M55, the Tier 9 American SPG, and this one's located on the south spawn of Steps under the command of ProvoBob. Now I can tell from a glance that that is actually the M55, and the reason I know that is because that's an 8-inch howitzer. The 8-inch howitzer doesn't extend over the front of the vehicle, and this one stops at the front, so it must be an 8-inch howitzer. And that means he's got alpha damage of 1050 if he can penetrate the enemy vehicle. Now I can also see one other thing on the barrel, and that's one mark of excellence. ProvoBob's got one, and he's working on his second one. Game started. Now this Arty is actually based on the hull of the M46/M47, which is the pattern tank. And when I say M46 and M47, they use a variety of chassis because this Arty was built on the hull of the pattern tank, and whatever hull was actually available at that time was the one that they used. So when they upgraded to the M47, they started using them for the M53 and the M55. Okay, ProvoBob's aiming for a black dog, the M4190GF, otherwise known as a girlfriend. Oh, and he got a hit! A splash hit on the side, 420 hit points. It's light armor on that light tank, so obviously that's why the splash hurt him. Now we haven't got any mods to tell you exact reload time, but it's normally about 42 seconds, and you can drop that if you use a rammer, got a crew with BIA, and or use premium consumables. But ProvoBob's not using any premium consumables in this game. And it's a T44. Trying to work out where he's going. Fires a round in. Well, it was going for where the T44 was headed. Now, the one good thing about the 8-inch howitzer is if you've got a lot of enemy tanks all grouping together, it can do a huge amount of damage to multiple tanks with one shot. So if you aim at one target, you might actually hit more than one at the same time. Because it's got a very big splash radius. Oh, and there's a perfect target. He's got a Centurion 1 and a T-34 together. Well, he hits the T-34 for 484 hit points and picks up some stun assist afterwards, but the Centurion only gets stunned. Now from where he's positioned, which is on one end of the battlefield, it's about a 3-second delay before the shell reaches its target. Now he's aiming now at a T10 on the west side, and that's going to be about a 4-second flight time. And he's aiming for the T10. Loaded. Now rounds out straight away. Oh, that was a hit on the engine bay, and it must have penetrated. It did 1052 hit points with that shot. That's a huge shot. Must have damaged the engine bay, possibly the fuel tank as well on that T10. He's equalised it for his own T10, who was facing off against that one. In fact, I'd say that T10 is now in a whole world of danger, because he'll probably get wiped out with the next shot. Lining him up. Oh, he's gone already. Okay, we're aiming now for a T-95 who's just been tracked. Rounds out. Long flight time. Oh, and it hit the engine bay. In fact, actually, I think it hit the fuel tanks on the back of the vehicle, which are exposed. I'm pretty certain that would have been a penetration because it hit the weakest armor on the vehicle, which is, of course, the weakest armor is on the top and the rear of the vehicle. It's backing. Almost loaded. It looks like he's tracked at the moment. That's why he stopped. Now he's pulling back. Lining up a shot. Rounds out. And our shell impacted right next door to the T-95 as he was killed. So we picked up 360 hit points of damage and then 116 hit points of stun immediately afterwards. Now aiming for an IS-3, hiding behind that rock. I think I understand why ProvoBob is aiming over this side of the battlefield from on the opposite side from his own. It's primarily because if he can actually get these tanks killed, then the rest of his team can flood up from the west side, come around the north, and attack the enemy in the rear. And that shell went long, and RNG made the shell land well away from the IS-3, but it has stunned him. It did stun him though. And he's backing away. He's just got hit and tracked. He's repaired that, so he's burned his repair kit. ProvoBob's almost ready to go. Can you get a shot on this IS-3 to kill it? It's lined up. Rounds out. Kill shot! 181 hit points. It did take a hit before we fired, and so that was a kill shot because it overwhelmed the armor. Now we're aiming for an M4A1 regular reset, and that's got very weak armor, so if we can hit him, we can more than likely put him out the game. Especially as we're going to hit the rear of his vehicle. He's suffered a lot of damage already. Oh, he's just been hit by the 212 on our team. And now he's dead. So, ProvoBob switching back to the east side, and now we've got a T-44. And there's a Centurion 1 behind him. I think we want to get that T-44. That's the same one we tried to hit earlier in the game. Rounds out. Oh, and the shell landed behind him. So I don't think that one did any good at all, but I think that's the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you aim at a tank and it's killed just before your shell arrives and you don't get anything from it at all. Okay, VK4502 being attacked by T-54. It has been stunned, probably by the 212. And there's a Scorpion G. He's trying to work out where it's going to go. He's loaded. Got to anticipate their movement, aim the shell where they're headed, and fire the shell in. Well, that may have hit the Scorpion G, and I'm pretty sure it would have damaged him badly. Now looking to get shots on the Centurion. Oh, the Scorpion G's going in. He's ram killed our Centurion 5-1, the Australian version. And the Scorpion's been killed, so he's gone. They've killed the 4502. We're now looking to get a hit on that Centurion 1. And there's two tanks there together. Oh, and he hit both of them. He damaged the Centurion 1 for 471, and he hit the Charioteer for 312. And now it's a bit of a melee as the T-54 tries to take out the remnants. But he's very low on hit points, so he probably won't last very long. And he's been killed. But now everyone's piling in. They're coming in from the west. We're coming in from the south. And there's the enemy Arty. He's been spotted at the back. Lining up a shot. It's loaded. Rounds out. Going after the Arty. Oh, it falls short. So RNG said no, and the shell landed well away from the intended target. But these Arty aren't going to last another 30 seconds, so the game's going to be over before we get to fire again. And there's the last kill. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats and see how well ProvoBob did. Well, it's the second class tanker for ProvoBob in the M53, M55. He managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12 in that game. And he got a Gore's medal for doing more damage than 10 times the hit points of his own vehicle. A Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else. And the High Calibre for dealing the most damage in the battle overall. So, let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see from the team score, he actually did 4,206 hit points of damage in that game. The next high scorer was the Indian Panzer with 2,479, and the Centurion 5-1, the RRIC ran version, the Australian version, with 2,245. When it came to kills, it was actually the Indian Panzer who did the best. He got 4 kills. The Borsig, the Emil, the Rebel Reset and the IS-3 all got 2 apiece. Unfortunately, ProvoBob only got the 1 kill, but then he did pick up a Confederate. And when it came to base XP, it was the Indian Panzer who did the best. He got 1,121. The Centurion managed to get 1,038. And then we got ProvoBob with 870. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 12 rounds in that game. Got 5 direct hits, 5 penetrations, and 6 splash. So he was working, he was getting really good penetrations. He was working that gun hard. Did damage of 4,206 hit points, and all of it was at more than 300 meters. He damaged 9 of the enemy, only killed 1 though, and did stun assistance of 928 hit points off 10 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 51,476 credits, and after ammunition resupply, took away 29,036 credits. He received 1,305 XP, times 2 for the first victory, took away 2,610 altogether. So, very good round there by ProvoBob. It's very difficult to get a first class or an ace tanker in the M53, M55. And the reason for that is that you will find yourself in battle with both tier 10 as well as with tier 8 tanks a lot of the time. And so you're going to be earning either less or more XP depending on which one you're facing. But obviously the higher tiers, they've got heavier armor, and some of them can be very difficult to kill. But you can see from this that ProvoBob did very well, because 4K of damage, a Gore's medal, a Confederate, and a High Calibre. So he's definitely on course for getting a first class or an ace tanker if he hasn't already got them. And I would say the fact that he's got 1 mark on his barrel, he's definitely had an ace tanker already. But in this game, he's certainly earned the medal. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel. And hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.